The year is 2008. Obama had just become president, one of the biggest recessions ever hit, and you're probably getting home from school, watching a little bit of TV. And my question is, why? Like, are you stupid or something? Yes, you could have been taking advantage of one of the biggest housing crises in America. I mean, you could have literally been rich. But there you were watching Cartoon Network. Are you proud of yourself? Now I just have to point and just laugh at you.
I have been publicly humiliated for the last time.
This one's my favorite.
What? No. Cartoon Network. What can I say other than it was the gold standard for cartoon channels back in the day? I mean, there's a reason why you literally know every one of these cartoons right here. The run they went on from the late 2000s to the early 2010s, it was perfect. Literally perfection. They were cooking with literally every new show they made. But the show that I want to talk about right now is the Powerpuff Girls. Don't let their cuteness fool you, man, because this show right here was on absolutely bad timing, my nigga. Absolutely devious. They were on NBA YoungBoy fans' level of aggression. I mean, bro, just look at this, bro.
What's going on here? What? Huh? Oh, what, you going for something? You going for that?
No.
You want some more, man? You do?
No.
Yeah?
No.
They wanted all the smoke, bruh. They were straight business, nigga. Dealing nothing but hands, my nigga. And supposedly in the show, their powers come from Chemical X. So I guess that's where the aggression comes from. But I'm starting to think Chemical X might have just been a bottle of Henny. I mean, we know that can lead to pretty bad decisions. But if we talking hands, and I'm talking straight boxing, hey, bro, we can't not mention the Teen Titans. They were boxing with the new nigga like literally every week, man. And we all know Robin was trending under Batman. And we know Batman's philosophy is just... And Beast Boy is always just so tough to me. Cause this nigga could transform into anything. And I mean literally anything. It could be like a dog or maybe even like an elephant or maybe even like a monkey or something. Who knows? Also, this nigga Beast Boy had the huss. This nigga was choosing between the two baddest bitches in the whole show, bruh. Shit not fair. Other than that, Cyborg was a real nigga and Starfire, well, she just held it down. She was cool. And overall, the show was some heat, but actually did the theme song Hi Hi Puffy and Mayumi. It actually had a pretty underrated show on Cartoon Network. If you haven't seen it, you really should check it out, honestly. And a show I think mostly everyone has seen is Dexter's Lab. It's considered a classic, but it was a bit before my time, so I didn't get a chance to watch all of it. But I do know Dee Dee is his main op, which literally makes zero sense. I mean, just build some shit to lock her out. It's not that hard. I'll say though, from what I have seen, it's not bad. And if we're talking about child geniuses who use inventions, how could we not talk about Kids Next Door? Kids Next Door was just one of those shows, man. It was just one of the greats. And that's nothing but straight facts. Hey, and shout out my dog number 5, man. She was the real MVP of the show. It honestly felt good to just have a sister in the show for once, you know what I'm saying? And we know she was about that action, man. Just like number 4. I mean, he was a bit of a crash out though. But at the end of the day, he was a real one. I mean, when it was time to lock in, oh yeah, he locked in every time. Oh yeah, number 2 and number 3, they held their way too. I mean, number 2 was building shit and number 3, well, she was, vibing? I don't know. But number 1 though, hey man, he was that guy. He was simply just him. Whenever he was on screen, oh yeah, there was no comparison. It was GG's. But he is a bald nigga named Nigel, so I guess God had to nerf him somehow. But one thing I always did notice about this show was these niggas literally never went anywhere without a strap. They were the definition of, I got that thing on me. Literally, they were like the baby in Walmart. Do not try them niggas. And it was always funny to me how essentially they were just beefing with parents. Like they're really out here battling with the human physiology of getting older, which literally happens to everyone, no matter who you are. And there actually were other villains, like the delightful kids from down the lane. And they were honestly every little kid's worst nightmare. Like hearing them speak in unison just gave me goosebumps as a kid. And in real life, they would 100% be the kids who tell the teacher, oh, you forgot the homework. And there were other villains like Father, But honestly, this guy right here was probably one of the most questionable. His whole gimmick is that he just like spanks children that aren't his. Just watch this. Dan Schneider? Overall, they were a great squad, one of the best on Cartoon Network. But when it comes to squads, play the trumpets.
Shadow Wizard Buddy Gang. We love casting spells.
I couldn't talk about Cartoon Network without talking about Ed, Edd n Eddy. No one in all of cartoons, no, in all of fiction has been bigger back chasers than these three right here. These three right here are always getting to something, some type of scam always, and they always just were about their business, man. And even though they were professional scammers, I can't do anything but respect the hustle. Yeah, not gonna lie, if they were around today, they'd be bigger scammers than TJX6. But it's just insane to me that they were really doing all this for some fucking jawbreakers, bruh. Like, they were really risking, getting an ass whooping from Kevin, who was one of the biggest haters in the whole show. I mean, he would hate on them niggas for literally no reason. But the point is, they literally did all this shit for some fucking candy, man. Is that really worth it? Like, let's be honest, and this is something I've always wondered, how the hell do they eat these things? These shits are bigger than their head. There's no way they can fit that in their mouth. Pause. Wait, I mean no Diddy. And lastly, it's fuck Sarah, man. She was literally the most loud, the most annoying creature that I've ever seen in my life. And supposedly her and Ed are like related, which literally never made no sense to me because, Ed is like the color of a minion. So I guess their mom was like cheating. I don't know. Overall, they combined to form a great trio. We had the smart one, we had, the finesser. And even as dumb as Ed was, I gotta give it to him, man. He was moving some serious weight, and it was a dog. He wasn't as dumb as this nigga though. Billy and Mandy was one of those cult classics that I think really everybody enjoyed. But if you break down the plot and really think about it, it kind of just feels like a fever dream. Like, you have two kids who, one of which is the dumbest nigga of all time. Literally of all time. And then the other is the living embodiment of darkness. And somehow they're friends with the Grim Reaper. No, literally the Grim Reaper. What the fuck? Hey, even though the plot really didn't make that much sense, hey, that shit was still fire, I'm not gonna lie, man. Except for this nigga. This nigga Irwin was a simp, man. One of the biggest simps in history. This nigga did not know boundaries for shit, man. And now that I think about it, what was it with Cartoon Network and having simps? Yeah, you got Irwin, Johnny Bravo, Mordecai, Gumball, and this nigga right here, man. This nigga Bling Bling Boy might have been one of the biggest simps I've ever seen in cartoon history, man. But overall, Johnny Test was a pretty solid show, I can't lie. And even though there's a lot of people who would probably, say it's mid or something, I honestly say, it had its moments. It wasn't bad at all. It wasn't bad at all, and it wasn't bad at all, and alright, fuck. And I'm not gonna lie, Foster's was a great show. But I just gotta go ahead and say just one thing real quick. And that's gotta be, bro, get this nigga on the fucking Lakers, bro. LeBron needs you. All right, I'm good now. But in all seriousness, this was a great show. And knowing his characters like Blue were, hey man, him and Mac were a dynamic duo, man. Literally, the whole cast of characters were just great. Every time I see him, it just makes me happy. Makes me smile.
Nice.
Frankie always felt like a supportive big sister. Coco, well, we never knew what she was saying, but she was cool. And Eduardo, well, he was just a big likable idiot. Kind of like Johnny Bravo. And the whole point of his show was he was just going around, not really knowing how to talk to girls and always getting rejected. And he basically had no riz. He just like me for real. But as I wrap things up, there's a couple others I have to talk about, like Total Drama Island. That was a pretty fire show. But this guy right here, yeah, he needs to be put in jail immediately. Totally Spies wasn't bad. Coleoco was pretty good for what it was. Calvin Chicken, that was just weird. And Samurai Jack, it was good, but I just didn't grow up with it like that. But Courage, it was supposed to be a kid show. But let's be real for a second. That shit was a fucking horror, man. Like, it would be nice, so I couldn't go to sleep after watching it. Oh yeah, but Chowder and Ben 10? Oh yeah, those are two fucking goats, my nigga. And shout out to Mung Man. He was just that nigga. Oh yeah, and we all know Schnitzel is black.
Yeah, I'm so calm. Now the audience can finally understand me.
And it's only my nigga.
And what else can I say about Benton other than it was a great, one of the true GOATs, and one of the pioneers of cartoon superheroes. And even though Gwen could be annoying at times, she still held it down. Grandpa Max was a real one, and even Vilgax was one of the toughest villains I've ever seen. And we all know Heat Blast is the best transformation though. I will say none of the spinoffs hit quite the same, but they were all still pretty solid. Like, Omniverse was way better than it gets credit for, and even Teen Titans Go as well. I honestly think they just get a bad rep because of the time they came out in, which was 2010's Cartoon Network. But if we're talking about 2010's Cartoon Network, then we have to talk about the big three of that era, which I would say was Regular Show, Adventure Time, and The Amazing World of Gumball. And as much as I respect the other two, Regular Show is the Kendrick out of the three. Like, it low-key kind of clears. Because as good as Adventure Time was at first, and it probably wasn't the most popular, it just got a little weird. Kind of like Drake.
Yo, call this line. Embarrassing.
And I love Gumball, but I'm not putting it over Regular Show. Kind of like J. Cole. At the end of the day, though, I gotta give each of these three some credit because they really did carry the 2010s of Cartoon Network. Because at that time, well, there were some just trash shows. I'm not gonna lie, man. But I've talked enough for this video, and I think we all just appreciate Cartoon Network as it was, and even as it could be. It's kind of sad to see it go and really not be the same. I know you guys remember all these promos and stuff, and there was still a lot of stuff I didn't even get to be honest. So I could make a part 2, something like that. Let me know what you guys might want to see with that. Yeah, just comment down below like your favorite Cartoon Network show. Mine would probably be Ed and Eddie. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.
Had to find a new hoe. I ran out of options. You ain't gotta take it there. All you do is pop shit. All your niggas told on you. You don't even pop shit. Get the bag on touchdown. I like playing offense. All my plays is locked in.